Hey everybody, this is JR, and this is West Virginia Commonplace, and this is the second episode inside of 40 for 40. And this one is called God Needed a More Than Me. So I'm gonna let the Canton Spirituals keep playing. We're not gonna do an intro this time, but let's let this play real quick so you get this real quick, and then I'm gonna go into detail. Well, that's the Canton Spirituals, and that song is called "Depending on You." In March of 1994, I lost my father. He is the first major death for me. I mean, I had death previous before my great grandmother, her husband died when I was younger. Didn't really remember that because I was like 3 or 4. But my father dying was the first question I had in life. I didn't know why he had to go. I didn't understand that the equal time that people have on life, like, and I said the equal time they have on life, is what you respect. You don't respect like the point of like, oh, somebody died at 28, blah, 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 blah. You see how long they lived and you see what they did in that time. And that's the equal time I'm talking about. So my father, he lived a life. He was a jokester. He did different things like that. But he did something that I never realized until I got older. He gave people something that I do now. I do this for him, and I do this for other people. I like to give people memories, but inside the memories, you get moments. And I keep a moment for myself because I'm selfish at that. I will admit that. But people have memories with me because I am like a tumbleweed. And I'll talk about that in another episode. But I'm not around very long. I'm in your life for a little bit of time and then we're still always together. But that time that we have, that memories that we make, those moments, we have those and then I have to leave. I don't leave in death like people leave in the physical form when they die. But I have other people that I have to be involved with in life and take on some things with them and keep life going and rolling like that. So my dad was given to me for almost 9 years, enough time to instill in me to be a thoughtful person, to be a person that has courtesy and to be considerate. And I didn't realize that until up until this point. I realized at about 35 that, hey, you were put here to help people. You were here to be selfless. Sometimes you're going to take a lot of losses that a lot of people will never know about. You're going to have a lot of heartache. You're going to be broken. You're not going to always be the bright person that people see in the augmented realities that we call social media and different things like that. You're going to be a person that's going to walk around sometimes empty, but you're going to know that you filled somebody else's soul. You get no gratification or no satisfaction from that, but people get a joy around your enigma. And I didn't realize until I was at this age that the time that you have with people, you've got to be very impactful in a quick time. You're not guaranteed forever. And that's how I learned. And that's how I realized that sometimes then people got to return back so their aura goes around to other people. Because problem in this world, I know I got a little emotional right there. The problem in this world is that we don't have enough empathy, sympathizing, but we don't have a lot of people that care. We have people that do these pseudo emotions that I see a lot and a lot take on people. We see these people come around and do all these mental exercises with people. And when I say mental exercise, I'm talking about the manipulation, the gaslighting, all this extra stuff to get a form of satisfaction that strokes their ego, strokes their mental focus, and they go away. We shouldn't do each other like that, because when we do that, that's an emotional toll, and nobody should be able to control your emotions with their actions. But people let that happen, and I've learned that. And people let your actions actually do hurt people later on down the road and traumatize people's lives and do whatever to them. But that's not here nor there in what I'm talking about right now. So more people came along. I've had grandmothers leave. I've had uncles leave that have gone on to heaven or wherever their astro plane is that they are, or whatever you believe in. But then people were here and guided and had a time and had a principle and some other parts to be in my life long enough to give me something, to instill something in me that is carried on some way and somehow. So that's how I knew that sometimes you got to let them people go, because God has let them give their gems. He has let them give their essence to you and to others. So their job is done. So essentially, I haven't given all my essence. Not everybody gives all their essence. Some people have to continuously give their essence. So when I hear the phrases like the good die young and this, and that, I take those with a certain sentiment, but I go back to this. Our people and our love of others is what drove these people to give to us and give, 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 give. And then the Lord, or whoever you believe in, saw fit that it was time to come home. And we're not divine enough to understand that meaning of why they got to come home. But I understand a reason why some of them have to come home and why it's their time. So, with that, let me let these camp spirituals, because I got this little music thing going right now, let y'all hear a little bit more so you understand how I dealt. This song helped me deal with my dad's death, and I went from there and I moved on. And it became gripping, it became part of who I am. So, let's let it go. Because you are my only son. That boy, daddy, your mama was only 15. They're all up your mama life. You always get me so but and that's another part that I'm gonna get into real quick. And shout out to the Can't Spirituals for that song, because that's a tough one right there. Um, that was the other point. The legacies. When God needed them more than me, they leave that legacy with you, and you gotta carry that torch. You can carry it how you want. You can do what you want with it. And I hope I've done my dad proud. But the thing is that the people that are left behind, sometimes they need somebody stronger than them. And I know personally, for me, I've had to be stronger in my household between me, my sister, and my mom. I had to be the strongest of the three, because they weren't built tough like that. They wasn't built, they wasn't, nothing was given to them to give them that strong fortitude, that muscle, the shoulders. I got the shoulders to carry everybody, or I don't, or I do. But the thing is, I eventually figured out that I do have them sturdy shoulders and I had to carry them. And while I didn't always do the best with my sister on carrying her with me, I assumed that where she was older that she would have done that stuff, but she didn't. She kind of, went around and became who she was and did what she did. But that's her own personal business. We ain't getting into that here. Another day for another story. If you want to hear that, listen to the other shows. But I just want to get this out there and leave it out there on this note before we end the show on this thing. God needed them more than me because God let them give me the resource. And he needed to come back because he needed his miracles to come home. And that's what I had to understand in life. And I didn't understand it then. So thank y'all for listening. And let's let the British lady take us out, at least on the outro.
Please follow WV Uncommonplace on Instagram, Tumblr, Twitter, TikTok, where we have some great content, Facebook, LinkedIn. Hit up the merch store at onecommonplace.square.site. Join the email list from the website and rate, subscribe, and give feedback from your favorite podcatcher. And lastly, thanks for listening and tune into the next episode.